Took home a 4-0 road win. For the home side, they are on a roll right now. I mentioned 8 games unbeaten. A result tonight would tie their franchise record. For Minnesota, they desperately need a win. In fact, they're still looking for their first ever MLS road win, but they're going to have the opportunity to do it. The next 4 of 5 matches will be on the road tonight, though. It may be a tall task for whether or not they can get the job done. Let's head upstairs to the booth and join the men calling this one, JP Delacamera and Alexi Lawless.
Thank you, Katie. Alexi, as Katie mentioned, they played a couple of weeks ago. What, if anything, has changed?
Well, sometimes, JP, you get the opportunity to turn around and face someone that you lost to, and it's a great opportunity because you get to totally redeem yourself. I think they learned some lessons from the loss at home, but 2 weeks does not change a team. And while they have some additions, this is still a Minnesota team that is going to have to come up with something very special to beat Seattle, who, Katie said, as we know, is on a roll and playing at home.
Starting lineups brought to you by AT&T. We start with the home side, Seattle Sounders.
All right, for Seattle, we take a look at this. Stefan Frei continues on goal, solid goalkeeper. Take a look at that left back position. Jovan Jones, that left back, 10 assists this season. He just bombs up and down and loves to get involved in that attack. Speaking of that attack, take a look at those 4 up top. Christian Roldan, Nicolas Lodeiro, Jordan Morris up at the top, and then the legend that is Clint Dempsey with 10 goals and 3 assists coming at you. And let's look at the Loons, too. All right, so this is the Loons. Bobby Shuttleworth continues on in goal. Man, you got to be a strong guy to be in goal for the Loons. You're going to take a lot of goals. Now, on the left-hand side, Francisco Calvo, I think he has been a wonderful, wonderful find for Minnesota in what has been a barren year, let's be honest. Up top, Kevin Molino in that number 10 position. He came over from Orlando, 5 goals, 7 assists. And then Abu Danladi up top for the injured Christian Ramirez, seeing if he can do some damage at that point.
So that's bad news lineup-wise for Minnesota with no Ramirez. When you look at Seattle, only Brad Evans is out with a back injury. This is bad for Minnesota because they're going to be facing Ozzie Alonso, his first start since the 4th of July.
Look, Ozzie Alonso is a player that if you ask any coach or player who would you want on your team, you want that guy because he is tireless, he wins balls, he's smart, he doesn't lose the ball in terms of possession. He's been out. Now, while he's been out, the team has been good, and this is good from a mental standpoint. You come in, if you're Ozzie Alonso or anybody else, you want to make sure that you continue, that you add to the good that's there, and it doesn't fall on you to be, oh my goodness, I was the problem coming in.
When you look at Minnesota United, they were pretty busy during the transfer window. They made some significant moves. Most significant is this man, Ethan Finlay. They picked him up in a trade with Columbus Crew SC. We'll talk Finlay when we come back.
Progress is seizing the moment. Your summer moment awaits you now that the Summer of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event.
To be successful, you have to redefine everything. Redefine power, footwork, recovery, range.
Degree Superior Protection gives you the confidence to redefine what's possible.
Starting with yourself. Degree, it won't let you down.
Heineken is served in 192 countries. It's world famous. Like me.
Where? Look!
It happens all the time.
He's ready.
Antonio Banderas! It's Antonio Banderas from the movies.
Enjoyed in 192 countries. There's more behind the star.
Looks like Mr. Potato Salad didn't sign up for the NFL's official fantasy football game on NFL.com.
One click to optimize your roster.
And boom, you're a boss.
I got David Johnson.
I got Mike Evans.
Just give me the rock. We're gonna make magic.
The official fantasy football game of NFL.com makes it easy for anyone to be a total boss.
Here we go.
That is gonna go to work.
Look over there!
Sorry?
Let it be known! Gotham!
Gotham moves to Thursday.
Come again.
From this day forward,
Thursday.
You're sure? Chisel that into my tombstone.
wow!
Listen to me.
This is a new day!
Thursday.
Remember that.
Here's the kicker.
It's a big step.
That is precisely the point.
Thursday.
Who is with me?
Gotham moves to Thursdays this fall.
What a day.
On Fox.
Well, it may not look like it yet, but tonight is the 158th consecutive soccer sellout here at CenturyLink Field as the Emerald City supporters continue to file in here. The Seattle Sounders getting set to host Minnesota United, and for the Loons, they were active during the summer transfer window, making 7 different moves, one of which you heard JP mention earlier was acquiring former Crew SC midfielder Ethan Finley. Adrian Heath was honest with us. He said, this is a guy I've wanted for a long time. In fact, I've wanted him for the past 4 years, dating back to when he was in Orlando with the USL. Ethan Finley said he feels like there's a time clock on a player's career, and while he did not think his time in Columbus would come to an end this quickly, he did feel as this season progressed like the odd man out. He's excited to be with Minnesota, to be able to build something for the ground up. As we bring back in both JP and Alexi now, he also is reunited with his former teammate Brent Kallman, and tonight has a chance to combine with Kevin Molina.
And Katie, it's his first game, and also Alexi, his first start. So what is the expectation on Ethan Finley?
Well, when Ethan Finley, JP, when he burst on the scene and he turned everybody's head because of his incredible speed. It's all fine and well to have speed, but can you access it at the right moment, and can you do it consistently? I remember playing with the great Kobe Jones, who everybody knew was quick, but he developed over time, and it wasn't just him running, because eventually you can figure that out, but it's knowing when to run fast and when not to run fast. So for Ethan Finley, he's got to be consistent, using that speed, beating players consistently. And by the way, Christian Ramirez, when he gets back on the field, and talking to Adrian Heath, he said, look, when this guy gets service, he will score goals. If Ethan Finley can be the man that can consistently provide service to a guy like Christian Ramirez, they can score a lot of goals and be very nice in terms of a pairing.
First year for Minnesota United. What's your take on them? They had a very rough start to the year. Now they've made some personnel changes.
It's a little strange. It's kind of like a soft launch of a product or a preview of a play. They're working out the kinks, and I get that. But if this team doesn't really start until that stadium comes, then we'll show up then, all right? Because right now it's very, very difficult to watch. The moves that they made, the players that they signed have not been good enough. They haven't been able to compete consistently. It's not that they haven't gotten better. At times they have gotten better. But it remains, at least for me, that the most interesting part about this Minnesota United team right now is still that incredible logo. I love a death loon. Now they got to figure out the product on the field.
When you look at Seattle, they've spent a lot more money than a lot of teams have. They have 3 designated players, and the guy we'll talk about when we come back is this man, Clint Dempsey, scoring all kinds of goals both for club and for country.
What is different? It comes from sidestepping the ordinary, going beyond, and doing more. Introducing the new BlackBerry Key 1, built to do more. Different.
These are Domino's all-new Parmesan-dusted, garlic-seasoned, and cinnamon-sprinkled bread twists. How did we come up with such a clever name? We'll never tell. Choose any 2 of Domino's new bread twists or medium 2-topping pizzas for $5.99 each.
Changing your oil after 3,000 miles?
Kevin Harvick.
If you'd use new Mobil 1 annual protection, you wouldn't have to. It protects your engine for 1 year with just 1 oil change.
Don't change your oil. New Mobil 1 annual protection.
The average family's new but old home. It survived 4 food fights, a one-coat wonder named Grams, and rolled with multiple personalities. #1 rated marquee interior, bears most advanced one-coat hide paint, Only at the Home Depot.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit. It consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
Rap is a great way to engage students. It's literacy and vocabulary words. I really like using the pen because I'm able to highlight different rhyme schemes and delete. I couldn't do this on my Mac.
For nearly 150 years, Continental has been making tires for the most demanding drivers. Tires you can count on, regardless of what the road throws at you, inspiring total confidence in any condition. Everything we learn on the track, we put into your tires. So you know you can trust Continental no matter what you drive. Continental Tire, for what you do.
When these two clubs met on August the 5th back in Minnesota, Minnesota actually had a couple of good chances to score early. When they couldn't, Seattle punished them. Clint Dempsey had not just one goal, but he ended up with 2 goals on the night as Minnesota just kept coming, just kept defending and defending, but couldn't stop much. A 4-0 victory for the Seattle Sounders on the road. Tough performance for Minnesota United at home. The Dempsey dance. Looking at Clint Dempsey, some great numbers from him. 50 career goals, that is in all competitions with the Sounders. Now let's take a look at our target expected goals analysis powered by Opta. Tonight's player, of course, is Clint Dempsey, closely approaching the #1 spot on their all-time scoring list. Alexi, your thoughts on the great man Dempsey?
Well, the dude makes a lot of money because he is money. And I think he's playing with a new sense of joy, of confidence, and given his issues that he went through physically last year, I think he's come out the other side, which is wonderful news for both Seattle and for the United States national team. I think he's going to continue to be involved for Bruce Arena's team, not just now, but come next summer in Russia. It is fun to see. It is fun to see a rejuvenated Clint Dempsey and what he can bring, because the fact is that for so many years, and he continues, when the ball touches his feet, everybody sits up a little bit, they hold their breath, because there's a possibility of some magic happening, and that's the definition of a star.
Alexi, how is he bringing it at age 34 and still putting up numbers?
Well, I think he takes care of his body, which is important. I think he still has that chip on his shoulder, that beautiful, bold arrogance that makes him want to prove to others and to himself that he still belongs to be there. And when we saw earlier when Bruce Arena took him out of a game in the national team a couple months ago, he was not a happy man. This man loves to compete, and he loves to score goals.
And what about the chemistry now with Lodero, Morris?
Well, keep in mind that Clint Dempsey was not part of the championship that they won last year. He was on the sidelines. He had to watch it on the sidelines. And while I'm sure he's happy for his teammates, you want to be part of that. And he's had to come back and integrate. Remember, he only had a few games with Lodero when he came last year and when they went on that crazy run. He comes back this year. I think he's integrated well. I think Lodero has adjusted to recognize that, look, this is a good player that can make me better, that can make the team better, but it's taken a little time to adjust. They are flying right now. They have guys in the back, like you mentioned Jovan Jones with 10 assists. They are just flying right now. This is a fun team to watch, and this is a team that is acting and behaving, and most importantly, playing and getting the results like a defending champion.
Yeah, Brian Schmetzer was telling us yesterday that when you compare this team to last year's MLS Cup winners, he said they're still sound defensively. The difference now is the flair with Dempsey, because as you mentioned, he was not around. He had that heart issue last year, so he's not a part of them lifting the trophy in the end.
Yeah, and look, I think Brian Schmetzer deserves credit because he came in a very strange situation replacing Ziggy Schmidt. He goes and wins, and then he has to bring in a legend in terms of Clint Dempsey. So I think it's tested Schmetzer in terms of the coaching abilities, and I think at least he's come out the other side at this point now smelling like a rose.
Yeah. One of the players that has done very well, too, played with Clint Dempsey during the Gold Cup, right? Christian Roldan, he was on that team. Christian came back earlier, and then Dempsey ended up doing what he does best.
Look, I love Christian Roldan. I think he is a wonderful player.
Kevin,
I think he's getting better and better with each game that he plays. I think he really benefited from the national team experience that he had. Even though it wasn't very long, it got him a little taste. And we talked to him yesterday, and he said, look, I am going to play for the national team. That is his goal, and you could see it in his eyes. He's got that taste. Now he wants that bite. And look, if he continues on that trajectory, the way that he's playing, I think he's got a really good chance of doing it.
And he is downstairs with Katie Witham.
Well, Christian, Alexi just said you can see it in your eyes, the difference, the bite that you have this year. 9 career goals. You've got 5 this season. What's been the difference between last year and this year?
I think just being a little bit more decisive. You know, not being afraid of making a mistake. And to be honest, you know, our team allows me to play free and you know, just they give me the confidence. So hopefully I can bring that today and you know, over these last couple games, it's shown how much confidence our team has right now.
We're looking forward to it tonight. Christian, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
JP, back to you.
Thanks, Katie. 1 game in MLS on Friday. 7 were played yesterday and 1 before our game today. We'll look at highlights from around Major League Soccer when we come back to Seattle.
We don't just want to watch the games cable gives us. We want all the teams, no matter where we live, with DirecTV NFL Sunday Ticket. We want Falcons in New York, Jets in LA, Bears in New Orleans, or Buccaneers in a quaint little New England bed and breakfast.
Can you please pass the marmalade, Charlie?
I sure can, Crazy Pirate.
Switch to DirecTV and get every game every Sunday with NFL Sunday Ticket. Call 1-800-DirecTV.
Walter? Is that the rest of our food? What? No. How come you have cheese in your beard?
Because switching to Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Oh. Okay.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Gross!
The old rules of TV are no longer with us. We're watching here, and here, and here. This is live TV, and we can store more shows than you could ever watch. We can even watch on 5 devices, all at once. The rules of TV have changed. It's time to change how you get it.
PlayStation.
Any last words?
Karma, Danny. Karma!
Progress is seizing the moment. Your summer moment awaits you now that the Summer of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event.
No matter how bitter the rivalry,
we have the same goal: to end discrimination. No sexism. No homophobia.
No racism. No discrimination. No excuses. No exceptions.
We respect our game. We respect each other. Join us and take the pledge.
Don't cross the line.
Monday Night Hoops is here on FS1.
Holy mackerel! What a game!
The Big Three continues as basketball's greatest legends take it to the court.
He's a big shot maker. Oh my goodness!
Rashard Lewis, Deshaun Stevenson, and Al Harrington keep the action going in a 3-on-3 battle for the championship. The Big Three playoffs from Seattle, Monday night at 8 on FS1.
The NFL preseason continues on Fox. First, number 2 overall pick Mitchell Trubisky looks to prove himself NFL ready as the Bears rookie quarterback takes on Marcus Mariota and the Titans. Then, the Bengals battle the Redskins. Bears Titans at 1 Eastern and Bengals Redskins at 4 Eastern. Next Sunday on Fox.
Let's go around Major League Soccer. We start with Friday night. Portland was at home Diego Chara would get to the end line and play this ball across Diego Valeri. 1-0 at that point. They would add a second goal later from Maddox. 2-0 was the final. We go to Montreal. 2 words, Alexi. Ignacio Piatti.
Piatti, goal. Look at this. They love him. They love him. They love him in Montreal. Well, they love him everywhere. And you know why? Because the man scores goals, and he scores lots of goals. Every different kind of goal. Right foot, left foot, doesn't matter. They all go in the back of the net.
To Orlando we go. Great name for a soccer player. Lalas Abubakar. He would put Columbus Crew SC ahead on the road, but they couldn't hold it.
Set piece. Lalas flying through the box. Lovely from the Golden Finch.
Charles Barnes, though, couldn't stop him here.
Jamaican. Cute angle. Puts it in. Whoa. Save some blushes there. Get that point.
1-1. Sellout crowd in Chicago. They had not lost at home until last night. They would get this goal from David Akam. 1-1 at that point, but then Toronto FC takes over.
Look, huge crowd. Chicago flying this year. Wah, wah, wah. Toronto comes in and says, nuh-uh, not on our watch.
Sporting Kansas City, unbelievable at home against FC Dallas. They got rid of Dom Dwyer. They knew that this guy, Diego Rubio, could score some goals. He gets one there.
Took it wonderfully and right in the back of the net. Again.
Unbeaten in 22 at home, Sporting Kansas City. We go to Colorado, and this... Turn away from this, Alexi.
Oh my goodness! Look at this gorgeous. Oh no, that's the legend that is Tim Howard and his foot. Watts says, "Hey, you're gonna put that on me?" Yeah,
meanwhile,
it's kind of how it happens. But Bill Hamid in goal secures it. They don't care how they get the 3 points at DC. They'll just take it.
Vancouver back in the playoff discussion. Yordi Reyna, watch this. That's a goal of the week candidate, isn't it?
Oh my goodness! Oh JP, just look at it. Curls it all the way around the moon, coming back in. Wonderful hair, too. Look at that.
Yeah. Late night, west coast of IS Stadium. Union would get this goal from Roland Alberg, and you would think maybe they'll hold on to this. It's a 2-1 lead at that point, but Salinas goes down, and Wondolowski.
Well, he goes down because he was kicked, JP. It's a penalty. Wando steps up and does what Wando does.
131st career goal for Chris Wondolowski. We go to Yankee Stadium. David Villa. Yeah, he'll score again.
Well, he always does. That's what he does. He gets the ball and says, you know what? We're not done. You know what? I demand that one of my teammates scores in the 95th minute.
How about Jonathan Lewis? He
had a big goal earlier. Brings it down, upper 90. Oh, my goodness. Well done, New York. New England.
Still on a road win. Yep. Toronto FC opening up that gap, although New York City FC gets 3 points to add to it. You see where Montreal is. They've jumped into that playoff race, overtaking Atlanta. In the Western Conference, it's tight. You've got Sporting Kansas City, number 1. 3 teams are tied in points. If Seattle were to win this game today, they will be in first place. So, a busy weekend in Major League Soccer. Alexi, your takeaway or takeaways?
Two quick things. The good. Toronto FC, I think that's a statement game. Everybody talks about statement games, but you come into Chicago with that big crowd and you say, no, I'm going to take those 3 points right away from you. And on the other side of the spectrum, Colorado, they fired Pablo Mastroianni this week, and then they go out and they lay an egg, and it was an incredible egg, especially in midst of all their talk about wanting to be more attacking and creative. And we're going to talk more about that at halftime and what it means, not just for Colorado, but in general for coaching in MLS.
Busy weekend in Major League Soccer. This is the final game of the weekend. Come back with us. Seattle at home versus Minnesota United.
UEFA Champions League is on FS1 all season long, where the elite names
Messi the man for Barcelona. Ronaldo!
On the world's most renowned teams battle to be the last one standing. UEFA Champions League, Tuesday and Wednesday at 2 Eastern on FS1. Available in Spanish on Fox Deportes.
Heineken is served in 192 countries. It's world famous. Like me.
Come here. Look.
It happens all the time.
He's ready.
Antonio Banderas! It's Antonio Banderas from the movies.
Enjoyed in 192 countries. There's more behind the star.
If a quarter pound of beef is your favorite thing, you can still come to Arby's. Just eat half of one of these. Arby's, we have the meats.
Hello Window Designs. They're tested from -40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit and subjected to wind-driven rain. They're even engineered to stop hurricane debris from penetrating your home. All with distinctive style. Pella Windows and Doors. Perfectly beautiful. For traditional to modern homes, choose our Architect Series wood windows, now with a limited lifetime warranty.
Progress is seizing the moment. Your summer moment awaits you now that the Summer of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Summer of Audi sales event.
Just like magic, Progressive gives you options based on your budget.
You ever feel like cliche foil characters scheming against a top insurer for no reason? Nah. So, why don't we like Flo? She has the name your price tool and we want it. But why? Why don't we actually do any work?
Why do you only own one suit?
It's just the way it is, underdeveloped office character.
You're right. Thanks, Bill.
No, you're Bill, I'm Tom. You know what? No one cares.
You want to know the secret to victory? Fail to make the varsity team.
Start your career as a walk-on. Take a perfect team and blow a perfect season.
Spend 108 years as a lovable loser.
Be on the wrong side of the biggest upset in your sport.
You really want to know the secret to victory?
Heartbreak for Matt Ryan, who is in utter disbelief.
Defeat.
Make defeat your fuel.
Welcome back, everyone, to CenturyLink Field here in Seattle, Washington. The two teams in the tunnel getting ready for their second meeting in a couple of weeks. The Audi Player Index tracks every move, every match, bringing a new form of soccer intelligence to fans in near real time. To learn more, visit MLSsoccer.com/Audi. Minnesota United, one of 3 MLS teams yet to find a win on the road. Seattle's lost just once at home. Teams are out of the tunnel, getting ready for this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, in recent days, the world has seen a series of tragic events unfold from Charlottesville to Barcelona and Finland. As Major League Soccer offers its thoughts and prayers to the victims, their families, and all those impacted, we ask that you please stand and join us in a moment of silence. Thank you. Please remain standing and remove your caps now to perform our national anthem. Please welcome Derek Nelson and family.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Great rendition of our national anthem. That's Brian Schmetzer, very successful last year, won MLS Cup. It's his second year in charge, replacing Sigi Schmidt. Let's go downstairs to Katie Witham.
Well, JP, the Sounders are in a good spot right now. When we spoke with Christian Roldan yesterday, it was interesting, his take on how they got here. He said that he felt like it took losing half of their team for them to ultimately become stronger. If you remember, earlier in the season, there was a game when they had 16 available players due to injury and also international call-up. He said, in those moments, you really learn a lot about yourselves. And what this Sounders team learned was not only could the next guy step up, but he was execute. The wins weren't always pretty, but they won. Fast forward to now, an 8-game unbeaten streak. Head coach Brian Schmetzer said that he's looking forward to playing 3 games in the next week because tonight and moving forward, it allows him to mix and match a little.
Katie, Adrian Heath, the head coach of Minnesota United, probably has some other thoughts. Still looking for the team's first road victory. We're going to talk more about Adrian later on in the show, talking about the challenges of coaching an expansion side. Right now, time for Alexi's Continental Tire Analyst Corner. Alexi, what do you have for this game?
Well, when we look at Seattle, they have to crush the hope, any hope that Minnesota has of being in this game. Because the fact is, there's not a single player in the starting 11 for Minnesota that I think would start for this Seattle team right now. That's how much better they are. But they have to go prove it. And on the other side, Minnesota, do they have nothing to lose? Do they just go out there with reckless abandon because they know 2 weeks ago all it took was a couple of opportunities, and the quality that Seattle has, they will make them pay. So they have to be smart. They're going to have to defend. Defend first and then pick and choose your moments.
Let's talk about the men in charge. Our match referee is Ismail Alfath, and these days the guy that gets a lot more publicity, the video assistant referee, will be Drew Fisher in case we need to go tonight to video review. So far so good with video review. Seems like the coaches and players have been on board with it, but there's still going to be a lot of great discussion, so it's great for talk radio.
Yep, plenty to talk about. Nothing ridiculous so far, nothing really head-scratching. Certainly some debate, but we were warned ahead of time that
you love debate.
I love debate.
You love debate.
And I love things to talk about. It still gives me things to talk about, but ultimately I think it has made the game better, and I think that as they continue to work out some of the problems here and there, it's just going to get better and better and better.
As Christian Roldan, he spoke with Katie with him earlier. Stefan Frei, he and the team with that shutout streak, 4 consecutive shutouts for him, 400 consecutive shutout minutes for the team, using 2 goalkeepers actually there. Minnesota United on the ball in the white and light blue trim. Seattle Sounders in the green and blue. They're expecting their 12th consecutive crowd of over 40,000. They are second in the league in attendance because Atlanta United is doing so well at the gate. Underway from Seattle as Cronin plays it to this right side. Soft touch there for Tisson. Deflected ball on this outside. Adrian Heath told us yesterday, Alexi, they want to attack, but within reason.
Yep. Not reckless abandon, but recognize that to an extent they do have nothing to lose. But they have to be smart.
Yes. Tisson draws the foul.
Get set pieces right here. Make the most of them.
They were down 2-0 on August 5th after about 20 minutes, so can't afford that here, where Seattle rarely loses, just once to Toronto. That was back in May. Free kick here for Minnesota United.
Seattle high on that box there.
Sent in and headed well wide. Should be a corner kick for Minnesota.
They can't waste these opportunities with poor service. First set piece, didn't even clear the first guy. Now let's see what the first corner.
Sam Nicholson, one of the transfer moves that they made at the deadline. Played across, one header, second ball, always dangerous. Quick shot, and the shutout streak almost ended right there, but it's cleared away. Stefan Frei told us yesterday it's a do-or-die mentality when that ball is in their box.
Well, this is what you need to do. Put it in a dangerous area and see what happens. Get to the ball. Gets to the near post, and that falls nicely right there. Nicely right there for Calvo, and he gets all of it. Great start here from Minnesota.
Tisson leads the team in minutes played, drives it across. Settled there by Minnesota. Laid off, that one's blocked, and headed forward by Dempsey. Coming back into Minnesota United territory, right by their bench. Little push there. And no foul was given. Adrian Heath with that lack of a call. Svensson. Svensson's played a number of positions for Seattle. He's done well. Drives it all the way across. Tapped ahead. Nicolas Lodeiro left it there. Leerdam on that battle. He'll find Lodeiro. He was a difference maker a year ago. Ball is cut inside, cut off by Ibsen, and he moves it away quickly. Minnesota United missing their big target, Christian Ramirez. So where will the goals come from if they can score tonight? All the way upfield, laid off. They've got Dunladi up, they've got Molino up. Alonso breaks it up.
A wonderful breakout there from the Loons. Almost deserved something better at the end. But you saw them come all the way down from a defensive clearance with possession.
Two players down as this ball is driven in, and Frei got a touch to it late. It's a corner for Minnesota United. Terrific start for the visitors. Ethan Finley and others applying some pressure in the early going.
Take another look. Bad giveaway there from Lodeiro. This one's from a long way out, and you can see it's coming through bodies. Frei taking no chances.
Scoreless here in the 4th minute. Minnesota's second corner. Ismail Alfat, the referee, has spotted something, though, before this kick. Dunladi and Morris are the two he is speaking to.
It's just saying, guys, you're killing me here. Come on.
On that in-swinger to the middle, headed straight up. Second ball, Lodeiro couldn't get to it. Molino can. Now to this right side. It's held up there by Calvo, and that's broken up. Lodeiro's pass back. Jovan Jones getting it forward to Dempsey. In a space, Jordan Morris. Running onto it on the right side, defended by Finley there. Double teamed, in fact. Morris trying to use some speed to get through, could not. Minnesota takes over. They've not played since August the 5th. Adrian Heath gave them 4 days off and then right back at it. Leerdam's pass, Lodeiro. Nico Lodeiro cutting ball in right side. Ball was crossed, denied by Minnesota. They almost gave it right back. They do. Lodeiro, soft pass inside, blocked. rolled on with that cross. Dempsey was there, heads it across, and that's cleared away. Minnesota have a player still down, cleared away from Alonso, and back into Seattle territory. Out for a throw-in. Sixth minute, scoreless here. It's Chad Marshall moving it across to Ramon Torres. Ramon Torres, a Panamanian international, did not want to participate in the Gold Cup, stayed here, but he will be back for Panama once World Cup qualifying resumes. Ramon Torres, left side pass to Jovan Jones. Rolled on. Double block. Dempsey. That's going to be wide. Bobby Shuttleworth out of play. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Audi. The Audi Player Index tracks every move, every match. To learn more, visit MLSsoccer.com/Audi.
Seattle making him kick it. So now everyone comes in, and it's all about the second ball.
Bobby Shuttleworth, their #1 goalkeeper. The last 4 years, #1 with New England. Coming back his way. Headed back by Boxall, another player brought in around that transfer deadline. Boxall used to play in Vancouver. We saw him during the Confederations Cup with New Zealand. Shuttleworth up the middle. Sam Cronin, big addition. That was long before the transfer deadline. He and Mark Birch coming over. Sadly for Minnesota, Birch has been out with a hernia issue. He's missed the last 8 games, has been back training, so perhaps the next game or the game after that, we could see Mark Birch back in that left back spot. Lodeiro to Alonso. He went down and couldn't hear the whistle, but the foul was called. It's a free kick for Seattle. Alonso played last week, 31 minutes as a sub, his first bit of action since that July 4 injury. Jovan Jones, as Alexi mentioned, 10 assists. That's outstanding no matter what position you are, but for a left back. Pressure on the ball from Minnesota. Jones couldn't get it through. They get a second try at it. Finley loses to Dempsey. Lodeiro, number 10 in the middle. Alonso up that right flank. Kelvin Leerdam's pass for Lodeiro. Sounders with possession. Unbeaten in 8. 5 of those are wins. Their record is 9 straight unbeaten. And that goes off Tisson. Corner for Seattle, and we expect the big bodies like Marshall and Torres to go forward.
Seattle just hitting these long diagonal balls on both sides and getting either possession or, now as we see, a corner out of it. And it's on all day.
Lodeiro to the middle, and that header goes over. Torres came flying through.
But he also came flying through his partner there, Marshall, here, and he is wide open. This is just getting to the ball first. See, just right from behind there. His marker, who he had lost, well behind, just blindsides right into the knee there.
That's as big and physical a center back duo as you'll find in this league.
But it's one thing if they just beat you on physical ability. There's only so much that you can do. But that's just getting to the ball before somebody. Mark your man. And if you're close and he puts it in the goal, okay, fine. He's wide open. He's wide open on that.
Minnesota told us yesterday they've been weak on defending against set pieces, and part of that is just the individual matchups. They've got to be better at it. They know that. Jovan Jones getting it forward on the left side. Played forward by Roldan for the speedy Jordan Morris. That's cut off. Played towards Tisson, who gives it a ride to the halfway line. Back for Torres. First 10 minutes, not bad for Minnesota, I would think.
Yeah, but now it's transitioned here where when they're going long, they're not winning anything long. Now it's settling in. Seattle getting the possession. It's a lot of opportunities wide, whether it's Jovan Jones or even Christian Roldan getting these balls with no one anywhere close.
Leerdam, formerly with Vitesse. They haven't given up a goal since he's joined the team. And that's in 5 games.
There's another one of these diagonal balls, wide open, no pressure.
Jones gave that one away too early. That was uncharacteristic with the kind of season he's had. Trinidad and Tobago international Kevin Molino told us yesterday, he's a teammate of his, that he's the best player, he's the best left back in this league, he said, and also the best player wearing Trinidad and Tobago colors. Torres.
Wasn't even a question.
No.
He laughed at anything but him being the best player.
He was emphatic. Taken away by Coleman. Gave it right back to Svensson.
See again, those long balls. Either they're not winning the knockdowns, not even challenging for them.
Marshall. And Seattle escapes. That was well done against Minnesota's pressure. Jones looks to get the return. He was held up. The referee's going to bring it back.
Well, he baited him. Jones just got that ball, and as soon as he got closed down, outside of the foot and off to the races. Let's see again. Thiessen knows he's got his hands full on that right-hand side.
When play resumes, a free kick for Nicolas Lodeiro. Ball played in, knotted down. It was intended for Dempsey, never got to it. Leerdam played it across. Cutting ball, Dempsey tried to flick for Svensson. That's cleared out. Minnesota's ball on a throw-in. 6 goals in his last 5 games for Clint Dempsey. And 10 on the season. 14th minute, 0s on the scoreboard. Seattle Sounders, Minnesota United. The sequel. They played on August the 5th. Things went well that night for Seattle on the road. Be a throw in here for Minnesota. Brian Schmetzer very confident yesterday, looking forward to the 3 games in a week because he's got some players that he needs to rotate in and out of his lineup. It's a good problem to have. Ball played into space. Shuttleworth trying to cut down the angle. And now rolls it ahead. Minnesota on the ball, up for Molino. And again, possession lost. Well, Minnesota had a pretty good start to this, but the last 5 minutes or so, they're giving the ball away too much and too easily. Cronin forcing it ahead. Ibsen leaves it on the left. Nicholson trying to cut it back inside, and Seattle's Roldan will claim it and clear it. Too high for Dempsey. Cronin controlling it for Minnesota. Flipped all the way across. Tisson. Finley trying to get the better of Jovan Jones, and that's picked off. Finley thinks he's going to have some space on that side, Alexi, with Jovan Jones continuing to go forward.
Yeah. Well, we've got to see him actually get the ball in that space and show some of that speed.
Off that throw in. Now Tisson blocked. Lodeiro with a clear. Towards Morris. It's going to go out of play. Throw in for Minnesota, and they get it in quickly with a Boxall throw in. Under pressure, finding Eepson. Kevin Molino. Dropping it off. Intended for Calvo, that's picked off. Cronin. Molino. Blocked by Roldan. And apparently last touch Minnesota. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by AT&T. Scoreless in the 17th minute. Minnesota losing it there. Free kick again for Seattle. What's your take, Alexi, in the first 16 plus?
Well, I think from a Minnesota standpoint, they haven't let in a goal. That's good. And don't scream and yell at me, okay?
No.
But I mean, it is.
But that's true. That's a positive. They were down
from a defensive standpoint, while they've conceded possession, certainly after the first 10 minutes, they've been organized.
Lodeiro poking it ahead. Oh, he had Morris open. Still with a fighting chance there. Sounders by the corner flag. Lodeiro trying to work some magic. That's blocked and sent forward. Here's Alonso. He'll get the return. Oh, Jovan Jones cutting, passing. Shot taken by Alonso is blocked and cleared out of play. Katie Witham is hearing things from the Sounders bench. Katie, what are you hearing?
Earlier you mentioned all the turnovers. That's the one thing that Brian Schmetzer has been most unhappy about. He keeps mentioning their shape, yelling out to the guys to squeeze and push up. But the other thing that they've noticed, Ozzie Alonso back in the starting lineup has a tendency to drift out wide. He continues to yell at him to stay central.
Thank you, Katie. And Alonso is wide right now as we speak. Lodeiro pushing it right, played inside, the header from Morris, punched out by Shuttleworth. A dangerous chance for Seattle. They'll have the throw-in.
Take another look back at this. Oh, Jordan Morris just gets his head / shoulder. Nothing really on it. Shuttleworth taking no chances. But they've upped it last couple of minutes here, Seattle.
Throw in towards Svensson. Molino will push it forward. Dunladi, haven't really called his name tonight. He's in Christian Ramirez's spot. There was talk that Ramirez might be on the 18. He was brought here. They brought 19 players just in case, but Ramirez is not listed on the subs bench. Play to the feet of Dunladi. That's going to be too far. A push in the end didn't help.
Well, that's an old, experienced, tall defender. Just getting position and waiting for the hit. Oh, I love it. I love it. Takes a look over his shoulder, knows it's coming. Just let yourself go limp. Take the hit and get the foul.
Three-time MLS Defender of the Year going up against young Dunladi, who's only 21. Getting some quality minutes here on the road with this start. 3 goals in his rookie season. Up for Morris. Lodeiro nodding it back. Just missing Jordan Morris on that connection. It comes back. And just Torres lets it go out.
But you saw Jordan Morris in this position up top all alone. Bring that ball down, fight. You know, he's adding elements to his game.
Morris told us yesterday he knows he has to be better in the final third. Nice ball cut back by Calvo. He's playing as a left back tonight. Has been a center back for this team. Played on the left side with Costa Rica at the Gold Cup. Lead pass in. Finley getting a chance to shot, and he scores. 1-0 Minnesota strikes first. Finley's first goal with the Loons and his first goal since opening day with Columbus Crew SC. That's a nice debut.
Well, we're going to take a look back at this and watch not just the speed of Finley, but the recognition of the moment. He smells it, boom. Get into that space, good first touch, and look at that nice little quickness. That's the way you started out.
He had not scored, Alexi, in 18 games now. They were not all starts. So that has to feel great for him when you join a new team like this. He's from Minnesota originally, and he's back starting, and now with a goal.
It was a little bit of a broken play, but he just sussed it out as to when to go. Yeah, welcome.
Shutout streak's over, my friend, for Seattle. Unofficially, some 420 minutes. So now let's see what Seattle does. That one comes, I would think, against the run of play, right? The way you were talking about Seattle with more possession.
But it's great. Yeah, it's great for this game. It's a great wake-up call for Seattle, and I think it's a great confidence boost for this Minnesota team that, as we mentioned so many times, had that incredible loss 2 weeks ago. It wasn't incredible, but...
For more on Ethan Finley, let's go downstairs to Katie.
Well, JP, you mentioned 18 games, not all of them starts. One of the things that we talked to Ethan Finley about yesterday is the lack of minutes, the least that he's had this season in his career. He said playing is extremely important. It doesn't feel the same when you're not out there on the pitch. That's another reason why he knew he needed to make the move and to come here with Minnesota. When we asked, what about some rust? He said the silver lining in not playing is it gave him a lot of extra time to do a lot of extra work. He was looking at this as a new test, and so far it looks like he's passing.
Yeah. Here's Dunladi. He's in! Dunladi could have made it 2-0, and that would have really quieted this house.
Wow. Minnesota emboldened. With the goal, with opportunities.
The Loons are confident.
And talk about opportunities. That was something special. This ball goes to the top, and Torres just completely overruns it. Knows he can't foul. Dunladi just couldn't get it settled down enough to really hit it the way he wanted to.
And this has been part of Minnesota's problem, missing chances like that. Roldan's pass ahead, Lodero. Nico Lodero still with it, and now it goes out for a throw-in for Seattle.
They've created chances, as you mentioned, but in talking to Cronin yesterday, his biggest frustration is the lack of consistency in the up and the down of this team. Problems.
Oh, that's a quick free kick. Played across, rolled on, down he goes. Cronin will take off with it. Minnesota really got caught sleeping there.
Yep.
Right from that free kick. Cronin on the ball. I mean, Seattle's going to get chances anyway, but if you're Minnesota, you can't give them that. To the feet of Molino. Formerly with Orlando. Lead pass for Dunladi. That's a nice play by Fry, but he hurt himself in the process. Stephen Fry down. And a yellow card was just given to Dunladi. Did he have anywhere to go, Alexi?
Well, he was coming in with a head of steam, and of course he's got a right to get the ball, but at some point you got to pull out. And we'll take a look here. Did he have the opportunity to do that? It's close. Yeah. It's really close. Could it? Yeah. He's got to pull out. You got to be aware of your surroundings there, and I know he's going to feel hard done there, but they're always going to protect a goalkeeper, especially when he goes down like that.
Fry is okay. He's not worried about the shutout streak. He said they didn't care so much about that. It's the unbeaten streak that they want. They always look at it as 3 points, not a shutout. A shutout's a bonus. Torres on it. Seattle finding themselves trailing here at home. And a goal by Ethan Finley in the 21st minute Minnesota United with that lead, yet to win a road game in 9 tries this season. They played the fewest road games in MLS, and that's too far for Jovan Jones. A throw-in for Minnesota. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Advocare, the official sports nutrition partner of Major League Soccer. Oh, Marshall gives it away. Lead pass. Dunladi. Finley was pointing for it. Molino's pass to Dunladi, and that's blocked. And Minnesota had numbers forward.
Seattle is given some gifts here to Minnesota. They're saying, no, it's okay.
Lodeiro, this is a veteran team, so you wouldn't think that conceding that goal would shake them up a little bit.
No, I don't think they're worried that they're not going to create any more chances.
No, they'll get some. They've had some. Lodeiro pushing it back. Svensson moving it ahead. Leerdam back for Svensson. Leerdam, he now owns that right back spot. They've had 6 players try to play right back this season. That's been their Achilles heel. No longer. Nicholson trying to keep his feet. 2 players down. Ismail Alfaf had a good look. Let it go. Sent to the left side, Jovan Jones. Alonso. Putting it all the way across. Leerdam drives it. He's looking for Morris. Settle and sent in wide of Shuttleworth. The opportunity for Lodeiro from distance.
Leerdam getting down that right-hand side. He had 3 players in the box. Poor cross. Lots of space. Wonderful first touch. But you got to put it in the vicinity of a green shirt.
Unusual to be off target for Lodeiro. He has 8 assists this year and 3 goals. Of his 8 assists, 4 of them are game-winning assists. Ozzy Alonso taken down. Free kick. Thought about a quick one there. And now we'll push it wide for Jovan Jones. 28th minute. Minnesota United with a surprising lead on the road. Ball out for another throw-in for Seattle. And for Torres. Marshall. Joined us late. Ethan Finley scored in his Minnesota United debut in the 21st minute. That's the difference in the game thus far. Alonso back for Torres. Lifted long for Jovan Jones. This ball contested by Tisson, but he lost it. Jones setting it in. It's blocked, cut off, and cleared away. That was good cover.
Tisson read one of those long diagonal balls and decided to go for it, but misjudged it.
Coleman did well to clean it up.
Yep.
Alonso. Dempsey. A bit deep right now. Clint will send it forward. Jones again. Alonso. Taken away by Ibsen. Played up. Immediately we saw Finley make that run as soon as that ball turned over. He looks for that open space. Svensson coming back to Lottie. Alonso, 5-time club MVP, a 4-time MLS All-Star, moving it to Jones. Alonso lifting it, far side, headed back, given back to Lodeiro. Off a deflection. Dunladi was fortunate to play that ball back, and it was taken away and may have to pay a price yet. Lodeiro, advantage called, roll down, the cross.
I don't know where the advantage is there, though.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Going away from goal, having to turn around.
The restart here off that handball for Seattle. And it's Lodeiro who'll take it. Veteran of 2 World Cups and 3 Copa America tournaments for Uruguay. Shuttleworth ready for an in-swinger. Drive it in, the header, 1-1. Marshall came through for his first goal of the year.
Set piece, check. Big, strong center back coming up, check. Great service, check. In the back of the net. Chad Marshall, there is nobody on him. Probably because you can see right there, player on the ground, loses his mark.
4 goals a year ago, that's his first of this year. That is the 18th goal, 1-8, conceded by Minnesota on set pieces. That's the most in MLS. That changes things here. And the crowd, which was somewhat quiet, is now loud and strong. Marshall getting the team right back. 1-1. And now let's see how Minnesota United reacts. We'll have a free kick here. Coleman played it wide. Calvo getting the return. Minnesota pushing it wide. Looking for Nicholson. That's cut off by Leerdam for Lodeiro. That was a nice move. That wasn't. Foul was given. So the goals are about 10 minutes apart. Marshall in the 31st. Finley got the first one in the 21st. Jones. They say, Alexi, goals change games. How does that one change this?
Well, I think much more important is the mentality of Minnesota. They find themselves playing here after what happened 2 weeks ago. They play well. They get that goal that they needed. Now they're feeling good about themselves, and then right back into problems that have existed before. And so it's that sinking feeling again.
And let's remember the Dunlawdy miss earlier. Could have been 2-0. And not that Seattle couldn't come back from that, but
there's plenty of times where we talk to Minnesota or Adrian Heath or the players, and they say, hey, we didn't play so bad. We had some opportunities. Well, if this happens, this happens, this happens. And all those little moments, those are those fine margins in MLS.
Offside flag is up.
We'll talk about those little moments. Let's take a look back at this goal. The reason why Chad Marshall is so wide open isn't because there's confusion or lack of organization. That man right there, he knew ahead of time. It's on the whiteboard in the locker room. You got to mark him. He slipped, lost his man, and like that, boom, in the back of the net. Now they're singing. They're feeling good. They're back in the game. Now Minnesota's got to dig in here.
Minnesota on that turnover. They almost gave it back. Now they do. Dunlawdy lost it there. To the feet of Morris. Morris has runners coming as he tried to play it across. It's out for a Seattle corner.
That's such great vision from Clint Dempsey and awareness. And We talk to players about what are the differences when you get better and better and better. And one is to recognize how to play forward quicker, to always be looking for it. Clint Dempsey gets this and immediately hits that ball through. And Jordan Morris is making that run. There's an understanding. There's a coordination.
Lodeiro. That's cleared away. It was Ibsen who sent that one the opposite direction. This will be a throw in here for Minnesota. Dempsey doing well with the chemistry now with Lodeiro, with Morris. And when Will Bruin has been in the starting lineup too, let's not forget Will Bruin and his contribution. He's on the subs bench today.
That's what we said for Brian Schmetzer. It's a wonderful moment to be in where he has some problems in terms of who he's going to play. Good problems.
Jovan Jones blocked. He got it forward, taken away. Nicholson now on this right side, poking it around. Morris, great recovery by Jordan Morris, staying right with him, earned a throw-in for Seattle. Ninth year for the Seattle Sounders. All 8 years they've made the playoffs. Last year they win MLS Cup, 4 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup titles, and 8 straight years record attendance. Great franchise.
Yeah, I think when we talk about doing it right, we've talked so much about Atlanta this year. Well, when Seattle came in, I think they also showed that they knew what they wanted to do. They had the wherewithal in terms of the resources. They understood the city. They were ambitious.
Even took the old Sounders name. They're having a reunion tonight for the 1977 team. Ball down this right flank. Leerdam wanting to cross it. Defended by Calvo. Alonso. Rolled down. And the offside flag goes up on Seattle.
And I can hear my friends in Portland, actually from here, because we're so close. I can hear them saying yes, but what about us? All that. They're so needy.
Are they saying that? Are they saying that?
You
can hear that?
Well, when you compliment their friends to the north here.
You were just in Portland too.
We were. We had a great time. They had a great time. You want me to say something nice about them too?
Sure.
They're wonderful. I have a good time in Portland. I was walking around. It was a gorgeous day. Sunny in both places, which is a rarity.
Shuttleworth will put this back into play. A 1-1 game now. We see Portland again next week too. Portland and Seattle. Great rivalry. Ball deflected. Nicholson picks it up, gaining the end line, playing it across. Nobody made that run. We had 2 players in the box, but no one on that side. The Jones pass. Dempsey returning it. That's a good ball. Jovan Jones. I thought he held it too long. He was bailed out by the Ibsen foul.
Jovan Jones just waiting it out. Thought about 3 different things and then took the hit.
That was another quick restart for Seattle. Second time they try to catch Minnesota off guard on those quick restarts. Here's Torres. Long for Lodeiro. Nice trap there for Jones. Sending it in. Blocked. Lodeiro picks it up. Cuts. Lost it there. Cronin clears. Molino leaves it for Ethan Finley. His goal gave Minnesota United the lead in the 21st minute. Finley spoke well of his time in Columbus. No ill will towards anyone there. Thought that the team treated him very well. Got him involved in the trade talks as well. So that's nice to hear. Pass up from Molino. Blocked. Trying to recover it. Morris goes in on the challenge. Cronin won it. Tisson back for Coleman. Calvo. And now Cronin. That's better for Minnesota. Passing with a purpose. Into space. Torres got a piece of Dunladi. Free kick Minnesota.
Well, Torres, he lined him up. and he knew what he was doing and the risk involved. That's a clean tackle for me. Refs obviously saw it as a little careless. Didn't swing with that left foot. Got to the ball. But it's not about what I think. It's about that guy in yellow.
Free kick from Minnesota. They were going towards Eepson. It's cleared out. From distance, a big blast, high and wide from Tisson. Coming up on the Audi Halftime Report, we'll have all of your first half highlights and analysis. We'll be talking coaching changes as well. Pablo Mastroeni out in Colorado. That happened earlier in the week. Molina's pass. I thought Marshall may have gotten away with something. Dunladi was down. Regardless, replay on. Torres on it. If Minnesota could get into the locker room at 1-1, even though they had scored first, that's not bad. Cut off by Coleman. Molino. Finley. Inside the circle, waits for some help, plays it back. Sam Cronin, formerly with Colorado. Boxall drives it all the way across. Difficult ball, but Calvo had plenty of time and space to bring it down. Eepson. Cronin. Molino. Tisson. Boxall. Coleman. This is better than earlier in the game when they were giving the ball away. Cronin. Looking for that breakout. Molino was there, open for a moment. Not much more. Lodeiro from Alonso. Jovan Jones immediately starts upfield. Jones settling. Tapped on this near side. Tisson back for Shuttleworth.
You mentioned if they get to halftime with the same score from a Minnesota perspective, it's good. No, it's great. Because not only have they scored, but I think they've had moments that they can build on. We recognize that they can have some possession. They can beat this back line with some of the speed that they have with Dunladi up top and now with Ethan Finlay.
Have they gone, Alexi, with that game plan attack, but within reason?
Yes, I think it's been very measured in the way that they have gone about this. And I think that's one of the reasons why they are still in this game. But keep in mind, everybody recognizes that there are game changers from a Seattle side. And they need one moment.
And Minnesota knows that. Ball coming in to Stephen Fry. Rolling it ahead for Torres. Closing minutes of this opening half from Seattle, where it's 1-1. Here on FS1. Jones. Dempsey. Alonso. Jovan Jones back for the Cuban-born Alonso. Alonso nudged off the ball by Eepson. No foul given to Alonso's surprise. There's Dunladi, 1 against 3, but he's got that speed. Trying to beat Svensson. Slowed down. And he kept his balance there. That time it's going against him. Had he kept his balance there were 2 other Minnesota players joining in the attack.
Svensson did a wonderful job tracking back and helping out Torres, because if Dunladi gets Torres in the open field, you just push it by him and go, because he will either foul you or you'll be able to get by him. So Svensson making that run back and making it more difficult for Dunladi, that was key.
Alonso on the ball, final minute of the first half. Driven wide, Tisson. He's probably seen enough of Jovan Jones already. We're not even at halftime. Lodeiro, nice cutting ball in. Dempsey blocked. Eepson, tripped up by Dempsey. Free kick, Minnesota.
Oof. Looks like he picked his pocket there cleanly.
1 minute added on in stoppage time. Ibsen is one of a few players that have made the transition from their NASL team. Christian Ramirez was another, but a lot of the guys that played in the NASL with Minnesota have not gotten significant minutes this season. Time running out. Opening half of play. Boxall drives it. Knotted down. And that's going to be wide of Stephen Fry, who has a goal kick here. Short to Torres. And back for Stephen Fry. First half winding down. 1-1 here in Seattle. Lodero. Dempsey. They continue to try to play it to Jovan Jones. That was behind him, allowing Minnesota to retreat. Up in the air, knocked away, and Nicholson didn't get it. That could have been costly, but the Sounders missed the target. An opportunity for Leerdam in the end.
Well, it starts with, once again, one of those long diagonal balls. Minnesota can't clear it and just falls nicely. And he gets all of this.
All right, good first 45. 1-1 is your score. Katie Witham is standing by with Minnesota United head coach Adrian Heath.
Well, Adrian, you score the first one on the road, but then give up a set-piece goal 10 minutes later. What did you think of your side's first 45?
I was pleased. I thought we've had a good shape, looked nice and compact. Obviously, the goal box, it slipped, so we couldn't help it that. And we've looked dangerous on the counter-attack. If you take a little bit more care with the final ball, there's going to be opportunities for us.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Katie. 1-1 is your score. Ethan Finley, what a debut for Minnesota. He scores in the 21st minute to give the visitors a 1-0 lead, but then Chad Marshall makes it 1-1.
Any last words?